Japa has gone away. It's just moving in the wrong direction, that you're no longer maintaining a certain level of Japa, and your standard good level. So what happens when you say, oh my God, my Japa is getting bad? What do you do? And I thought, well, the first thing you do is say, thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada, that you had the awareness to think like that you were able to notice that your Japa is sliding. And then the second thing is, I figure I whip up the laundry list and say, well, why is my Japa sliding? Well, what's changing about my Japa? And that I guess the first thing, everyone has their own list of items which make your Japa strong, things that allow you to be consistent. So the first thing I think is that, what time are you still going to bed on time? Are you taking rest on time? Because Japa starts the night before, and if you get your sufficient rest, then you should be able to get up early enough. But then keep going. Say, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Well, are you on a computer too late or a lot? Are you talking with a little Japa with your friends? Are you finding fault with the devotees? And in this way, you can make a list of things that may be causing your Japa to change. And it's fine, because it's like taking your temperature, your devotional temperature, to make sure that the most important aspect of us is our Japa. You can still be reading and doing your service and so many other things, but if the Japa changes and begins to decline, eventually other things will begin to decline. If you're not healthy, if you start getting a fever, start getting a cold, whatever, if you start becoming ill, then eventually you're going to be quite sick. So Japa is like that. And until you become steady in your devotional service, steady in your commitment, until you're, and I say really steady because until you're tasting, you're anxious to get up and chant the holy name consistently, and that you're aware of the fact that you're serving Radha and Krishna, aware of the fact that you're the cause of a broken relationship that needs to be redeveloped, and that we're in it, okay? We're redeveloping this relationship. But if you've had such a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you want to do all those things possible to safeguard that relationship so that it doesn't return to the point where there is no relationship or a very weak or dissatisfying relationship. And I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking, well, why don't you talk? I said, why don't you speak about it? I know things that I do, one of the things I do quick when I don't like my job, or if I feel, is I read. As often I can read about the holy name, or I read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If I read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, CC, or teaches Lord Chaitanya, wherever I go, then Lord Chaitanya is so enwrapped in the holy name, in serving the holy name, in giving the holy name, in tasting the holy name, that it's a little infectious. You become caught up. And then there's all the Japa books. The Japa books aren't just to be read and put on the shelf. They're part of our toolkit. And there may be really exciting things that you find and that you appreciate, some things you incorporate, but it's a constant situation. It's constantly We try to rejuvenate, to strengthen, and take the pulse and break through. Because ultimately, we want a better relationship with Krishna. And when we're reading the Bhagavad Gita and I think of that relationship with Krishna, I don't like to be redundant, but it doesn't appear to me that any of the things that we've heard in the Gita, as far as, really being able to surrender to Krishna and to establish a loving relationship with Krishna and having clear understanding of the different aspects of karma, jnana, and bhakti, it doesn't appear to me that when I get to the end of the Gita, if Krishna asks me, are your doubts and illusions now dispelled? What do I say? Are you ready to act? Arjuna said, yes, I've heard and understood, and I'm ready to act by your grace. But if you take away the holy name, if you take away the Japa, I can never follow the Bhagavad Gita, nor will I hear it, So much is dependent on the fact that in our devotional life, we've been given the opportunity to reestablish a relationship with Nam-Prabhu. And, when something's that exciting or so wonderful, you get a gift, you kind of have to talk about it. When you get something that's really nice, you talk about it. And yeah, I think you talk about the kids and, what's going on, the good things that happen in your relationships. And so this is our relationship. This is our fundamental relationship. And the relationship is awarded to us by the spiritual master. I remember Mother asked me one day, what if your spiritual master leaves or something like that? And that has happened within our society. But I think we've minimized the aspect of the relationship with our preeminent Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada, because he can never go. He's always there, He's so cemented there. Prabhupada will never leave us. And we don't have to live a life of fear. Oh, Prabhupada's, he's only my Shiksha Guru. Same manifestation, Shiksha, Diksha. Good. And nor do we have to play leapfrog and try to go to Prabhupada and think, I can't appreciate my. No. These are all negative, wrong ways of looking at things. But we should understand that we're grounded in the shelter of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And from that, we'll always be connected with the Parampara. So just like when you have different things in your toolkit that you can use to help you to strengthen your journey, also there's aspects of our family that strengthen our resolve, that keep us clear in our mission, that let us know that we have shelter. Because a lot of times it's hard to think, I'm just going to take shelter of Krishna. Well, that's the holy name. That's taking Krishna shelter like that. But if we don't, then we take shelter of the instructions of the spiritual master. Same thing, And the relationship is personal and it's there. But I was thinking about the holy name this morning and about my Japa and about all of you. And I thought it's a practical thing to speak about. So I did. Does that make sense? I mean, we're going to go on with our reading, but I just want to know, as far as reflections, do you think it helps to check your japa and to see all these things in such a personal way? Just like we preach to so many people, but the most important person that we're preaching to is ourselves. And if we can speak to ourselves and take shelter of the relationships that are there within our society, take shelter of those saintly persons, are going before us in the literatures, in the prayers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so amazing. It's just so amazing, you know. And so Bhaktisiddhanta, so we take shelter like that, then we find help along the way. So that's all I wanted to talk. That was my introduction. You can speak maybe later, but now it's our reading time. Okay? Mother Shobha Radhe.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Oh man, we got those A's back again. Well, let me see.
Anarthas and avidya cure the twisted heart. Before beginning to ascend to the platform of steadiness, nishtha, devotees have not yet been able to full-heartedly and exclusively devote themselves to the service of Krishna, and therefore find it difficult to absorb themselves in the chanting. As described earlier, they are torn between their old attachments and the increasing light of their new convictions. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Nama Bhajana, devotees who have yet to reach Nishtha suffer from 4 afflictions. They have strong love for the fleeting world. 2, they identify the soul with the material body made of flesh and blood, and with the subtle body made of mind, intelligence, and false ego. 3, they have knowledge of and attachment to things other than Krishna. And 4, they have an extremely subservient mood toward Maya. These 4 inner dispositions do not allow them to fly freely in the winds of the divine breeze brought by the holy name, but force them to struggle against gravity. What should they do? It is extremely helpful for such persons to worship the Lord's deity. It may be too demanding for earthbound devotees to worship Krishna only in his name, but their perturbed minds may be strengthened by the acceptance and love they will feel when they worship Krishna's deity. Deity worship will help them increase their attachment to Krishna. In his Bhajana Rahasya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur offers the same powerful solution for gaining affection for the Lord. Worship him in his deity form. Archana, deity worship, gives devotees who have not yet been able to develop 100% faith in Nama Bhajana a sublime feeling of having a relationship with the Lord. They feel their service is accepted and even feel loved by the Lord. They may also become more acquainted with the Lord's divine form. All these are wonderful results that can help practitioners feel closer to Krishna and overcome their apathy, allowing them to actually turn to him with genuine feeling when chanting. Another powerful way to increase attachment to Krishna is to chant the prayers spoken by great spiritual masters. By their mercy, these great souls have left us with a treasure house of ashtakas and prayers by which we can develop our attachment to Sri Sri Radha Krishna and the holy name. Here, I will quote one of my favorites by Srila Rupa Goswami. Aghadamana Yashoda Nandanao Nanda Suno Kamala Nayana Gopi Chandra Vrindavanendraha Pranata Karuna Krishna Vichaneka Swarupe Tvai Mama Ratir Uchair Vardhatam Namadheya. O Shri Harinam, you manifest in many forms, like Aghadamana, the subduer of the Agha demon, Yashoda Nandana, the son of Yashoda, Nandasuna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Kamala Nayana, the lotus-eyed, Gopi Chandra, the moon of the gopis, Vrindavanendra, the Lord of Vrindavana, Pranata Karuna, the compassionate master of the surrendered souls, and Krishna. O holy name, let my attachment for you increase more and more. The 6 Goswamis were always reciting prayers and bowing down in a scheduled way while devoting themselves to their sadhana. By following their methods, we will certainly enter into their stream of feelings for Krishna. The best way to help ourselves to fly free is to seek the company of true devotees. Because if we listen to the narrations of Lord Krishna and the holy name from such persons, our heart can quickly be straightened and healed of its twisted condition. We can be purified simply by receiving such persons' mercy and powerful blessings. Neophyte devotees will thus learn how to chant correctly and quickly come to the stage where they sincerely aspire for prema. This is the second time in this book that we have discussed the power of Vaishnava association. One might therefore wonder, where can I find such pure devotees? I do not see any pure devotees where I live. Some readers might even be the only persons in their town who aspire for pure bhakti. But take courage. These great souls are not like you and me. They are never inaccessible, not even after they have left their physical bodies. In Bhagavata Arka Marichi Mala, Bhakti Vinod Thakur records a nice verse about taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared for all time that anyone who has even a slight contact with Haridas Thakur is very dear to him and will get his full support. Haridas Thakur is not dead, he is very much alive, and his sincere followers live in his company. I offer my humble obeisances to Sri Haridas Thakur, who, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, revealed the devotional service of chanting the Lord's holy names without deviation, and who is the spiritual master for awarding happiness to the devotees. Bhagavatarka Marichimala, 13th Ray, Introduction. Haridas Thakur spoke a powerful prayer for Nama Kripa, the mercy of the holy name. Devotees who enter the spirit of this prayer in a regular way will find it an amazing support in their chanting. Kripakari Nama Rupe Amar Jihvaya Nirantara Nacha Prabhudhari Tavapaya. O Lord, be merciful and appear on my tongue in your holy name. Dance there constantly. O Lord, I fall at your lotus feet and beg you. Rakha inilao tanha tava ichha mata yana rakha deha mura Krishna namamrita. You may keep me in this world or take me to your abode as you please. But whatever you do with me, feed me the divine nectar of your names. Jagat-jane namadite tava avatar, Jagat-jana majhe mure kara angikar. You have descended to this world to distribute the holy name. So kindly also consider me one of those you intended to bless. Amita adhama tumi adhama tarana, ubhay sambandha e patita pavana. I am the most lowly, whereas you are committed to the uplift of the lowest. This is our eternal relationship, O Savior of the fallen. Achedya sambandha e tomai amaya, yarabale namamrita e adhama chaya. On the strength of this unbreakable connection between us, O Lord, I beg you to shower me with the nectar of the holy name. Harinam Chintamani 11.53 to 57. If we live far from great devotees, either ancient or current, we can certainly listen to their recorded words and derive the benefit of associating with them through their Vani. Many devotees around the world have reported how associating with Srila Prabhupada through his books and listening to his recorded lectures has opened long locked doors in their spiritual advancement. Also, we can install one of Krishna's greatest devotees, Tulsi Devi, in our home. Of course, when there is an opportunity to have direct contact with walking saints, we should avail ourselves of this rare blessing. We will hear more on this important point in part 3 of this book, where a comprehensive manual for Nama Bhajana will be revealed and in which Lord Chaitanya will be introduced as the sadhu par excellence.
Thank you so much, Mother. That was not only a great section, but it was such wonderful reading. So I have nothing to say. Why don't you speak about this? There must be something that someone can say about what we've had this morning.
Prabhu, you are telling, if you don't feel like chanting, sometimes you read different prayers. I think I've been practicing it also. It's really help you fix your mind. If you're reading about the holy name and just reading immediately purify your consciousness and make you, encourage you to start chanting. It really works.
You said
about reciting different prayers.
yeah.
Even reciting the Sistastakam, it's help.
Mother, you said it helps, right?
Yeah, it really helps. Yeah, I've been practicing that too.
Yeah. It's a prayer is a call. Even when the words have been given by someone else, someone who's very sincere and advanced. When we recite these prayers, it is a call. It is coming from us. And we're actually either sometimes we're glorifying the Lord, sometimes we're petitioning him, but always, for ourselves, if we stay mindful, all attractive Lord, oh Radha, oh Krishna, please use me. Please use me. I want to do service. I mean, it becomes so personal. Everything has to become personal. When we stop it from being mechanical, it becomes personal. When I realized that somehow I broke off the relationship with Krishna, and this is my big opportunity to reestablish a relationship. And it's difficult. And part of the difficulty is I'm not so willing. I'm in an environment of bad association. And my mind is probably the worst association I'm going to encounter. But I'm just surrounded by things that are pulling me away from Krishna. Therefore, how will I actually be able to attain you? I think I want you. I know I want you, but I'm weak. I'm unsteady. So if we tell him, if we say it, it's true. Can you imagine telling someone that you love how much you need their help? Even materially, a person who sincerely cares about you, they help you. And so Krishna is more interested in us returning to him than we are in than going. Therefore, we cheat the mind by exposing it. We always tell. We tell in prayer, we tell, a devotee who can help us. We just tell. Reveal the mind in confidence. Uh, but that prayer, that aspect of prayer, when we read about it, we hear it. And as we hear it, there's an effect that it has on us. And it allows us to open up. Ultimately, the heart's a little blocked, it's a little locked, and that's what we're going after. We're trying to clear away, all that mesh. We're trying to get to the heart. And when Lord Chaitanya says, Peto Dharpana Marjana, cleansing the heart of all these unwanted things. I mean, this is real. As though the prayers are beautiful, this is the situation that we find ourselves trying to do. We're trying to serve Non-Prabhu and ask him to use us. And part of that process is cleansing the heart of all these unwanted things. So the more we call him, the more
Prabhu, did you
Yes,
Prabhu,
mother.
did you read this verse before your initial talk?
Nope.
So you see, you talk about prayer, and the verse also spoke about reciting different prayers. It's amazing.
I know. But Krishna's God, you know?
Yeah.
I've read this book several times, but the point is I don't know so much. So I find myself needing Krishna a lot. I need Srila Prabhupada. I need my Guru Maharaj. I don't have so many things, so therefore I'm dependent. And I do believe just like our mind is constantly speaking to us, telling us things, the super soul is constantly giving us direction. We just have to become situated in a way that we hear. We need to hear, we need to listen. And to the extent that we associate, in this realm, then we hear a little better. No, I didn't read the verse, but it's just for me, I go through different changes. And I realized a few years ago, and this was embarrassing to me, I realized that I wanted to become a pure servant of Krishna. That was the most embarrassing thing to me because I'm just, into being cool and having fun, and just being a regular person. And I'm still a regular person, but ultimately, we have to make a decision that we want the goal of the process. We can't be embarrassed due to our shortcomings. We have to actually understand, hey, I belong to Krishna. And unless I put my heart into this, then how can I expect to attain the desired goal? So a couple of years ago, I said, and I told one of my friends, one of my learned, good heart, one of my advanced friends, I said, I'm so embarrassed to tell you this. I said, I think I need to become a pure servant of Krishna. I said, I have no qualification. I don't see how it can possibly happen this lifetime. I said, but at least the desire is there, and it's embarrassing, isn't it? But we have to at least begin to think like that. Embarrassing because you know that you're not qualified. But Lord Chaitanya, he's looking for low-class people like me. He's got the method, he's got the process. And so we acknowledge what is there and we take advantage. If we don't take advantage, we only have ourselves to blame. We must take advantage. Try to open our hearts. Seek out that high association. Stop the mechanical service and beg. It'll happen. You'll lose your focus. It'll go down. That's okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again. Anyway, more points. Thank you so much, Mother. There was so much in this section the 3 A's and those 4 points this Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur brings up. Okay, devotees, what do you think?
It was very humbling to read the 4 points, and the last one especially, that we are still we are subservient to Maya still. It's, we think we have been able to get away, but you read it like that, you see it on paper like that, it's, oh my goodness, still so much more has to be done. But it was good to be reminded, and I think that is why he's saying that Vaishnava association, the constant reading, we can either go this way or that way. It depends what we surround ourselves with. I think the reason Vaishnava association helps is it takes you away from the other association, because we will be subservient to one or the other.
Yes.
And I've heard it so many times, but today it just was like a hammer hit my head and said, I don't know, like both of you have been saying, it's the realizations come, you've been hearing, I have been hearing this for so long, but all of a sudden it's like the light has gone on in my head. And I, still subservient. That was just mind-blowing.
One thing I think is good to remember is that this illusion is woven deeply, tightly into the fabric of our life. The illusion that we're the doer, that we're the enjoyer, that we have this big control. The desire to enjoy separately from Krishna is so there. Even we get in devotional life, we find friends, and we're on the path, we're initiated, we're starting, we're moving. But then there comes a coolness. When you find that, this group of devotees, they associate like this, the ladies can get dressed up, we go to the yoga places. There's so many things that happen that are nice. Actually, Krishna consciousness is nice. It's like better than my old lifestyle, but we're still trying to enjoy. We're still the center. I'm not asking people to become renunciants at 30 and 35, no. But I'm saying, let's understand the urgency. This is not a playground. We're on death row. At a certain point, we're pulling over. It's like the lottery. Our number is called. There's no adjustments. There's no time. We're out of here. So if you're young, the illusion's strong. Trust me, I've kept this thing going on forever. At least finally, I've got the tracks on my face. I got my hearing aids in my ear, eyeglasses on, all the signs of a deteriorating body. The exit signs they're flashing, okay? But the real thing is that we have to see the place for what it is. This is, we constantly think of enjoying and controlling Krishna's energy until we come to the realization that I need strong association to change the trajectory of my path. Other than that, I re-enter the cycle of repeated samsara. That I stay on that wheel. But if I can associate with devotees who are clear, who are somewhat free, devotees who are pointing the right path, they'll help me, they'll snatch me, they'll engage me. And we can't be shy at this point. We have to go for it. And that is what we're here for. This is what Srila Prabhupada came. He didn't come here to save us because he thought, oh, well, I'll give them some nice chants, some nice slokas. And he came here because he could understand the urgency. He felt it. And when you hear Prabhupada, he understood the urgency. And he told us, get yourself strong and get out there and help somebody else. So that's what we're doing here. So when we come together like this, we're in the hospital. We're getting better. You know, use what analogy you want, but we're getting stronger, and that strength comes from our association, clarity of purpose, and proper application. And if we do this and help one another and see ourselves as we truly are, not afraid to be weak, but stay on the path, not afraid to be needy. If we do that, then collectively we become strong, what to speak of individually. So it's what it is. Okay.
Hare
Come on,
Krishna.
you guys. Hare Krishna, Jonathan Farouk.
I wanted to stay on this. Is my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. I wanted to stay on this point because in the beginning, Maharaj is saying that unless one attains the point of nishta, or being fixed, a person can wholeheartedly absorb himself in the holy name. And then he explains how there's, we're divided. We still have some love for this world. We still identify ourselves with the body and the mind. We still have it mixed up. The soul has a connection between this material body and mind. Later, Maharaj will explain how, as long as we have this conception, the names that we chant aren't pure names, they're broken names of Krishna. So I really like this because we can get caught where we start thinking that this is the place where things are, that mediocrity, this level of mediocrity becomes the standard. By the association of saintly devotees, we can understand that this is not the standard, that this is actually just a place where I may happen to be, but it's actually not the goal. So the importance of associating with saintly devotees and having them in our lives and getting guidance from it became so clear from this reading, so that we don't think that mediocrity is the standard. What I really wanted you to comment on is Maharaj in the beginning gave a way out, and I was hoping maybe you could explain a little bit more how that is. He says that it is extremely helpful for such a person in this condition to worship the Lord's deity as a way to get to that point of nishta. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, to the best of my ability. We are so impersonal that it's ridiculous, Even when we think of God and we know Krishna, we just cannot focus on the fact that the Supreme Lord is a person. And the deity worship, even as a young man, I remember, jumping off the subway and off the bus and getting to Shelton, and I think it was Shelton and Green, and I'd start running. I'm running like 4 blocks down and 2 over the Woodlawn Street, and I'm running up the street and up the steps. I'm here. I'm at Juggernauth's place. And I'm going to go in. And sometimes I bring him flowers. I bring a different gift, bring something for the deity. But I'm going to see someone. And even without knowing anything, there was something about the Jagannath deity, Jagannath and Baladev, that I felt shelter. They would explain that this is Krishna, but I didn't know that much about him. And in my life, I can tell you, in the worst times, when the most dangerous time I've ever had, I was at the beach selling art, and I was a young man with a young body. And, anyway, the young boys are telling me stuff, and the young girls, everybody's coming off. I'm like, I'm a young brahmachari. I says, Lord Jagannath, Krishna, something can happen to me, please help me. Bam! I see Jagannath's face, there he is. I said, oh, Jagannath, I'm so scared. I said, I'm so scared. I don't want anything to happen to me. And you know, I'm still here. I don't go into the details, but it's real. You can develop a relationship with the deity, and he will protect you. He's Krishna, but he's here. And so you begin to serve him. What to speak of the Panchatattva, Gornitai, Radheshwar Bihar. You develop a relationship. You cook for them. You change their garments. You bathe them. You know, you go out and you come back to see them in the evening, and you live in the temple. It's just amazing. So you develop a relationship. That relationship continues when we leave this world. That relationship begins to thicken as we begin to purify our existence. Then it's no longer routine or nice, it's genuine. So many devotees worship their Sheela. There's this attachment that happens to Krishna. We're very easy to become attached to things. So we develop an attachment to Krishna like that. And the relationship, you know, it begins to manifest both the relationship with the deity, but the relationship with non-Prabhu. It changes. It's all mercy. Everything is all mercy. So we see in practical terms how we can serve the Supreme Lord. We get dent experience of this situation by our engagement. So when the spiritual master gives us that second initiation, enabling us to come closer, to chant the mantras better, then we do that. And everyone has experience. It's just a point of thickening it to make it no longer routine. You make mistakes and the deity straightens you out. Ask the Bajaris. They can tell you stories like anything. The deity gets you straight. So it's a relationship. And most of us now that Prabhupada physically has left the planet, but he's here. So we have his form. And God, do we feel Prabhupada's presence? You know, we can take care of Srila Prabhupada. We can serve him. So in that way, there's so many effects which come from worshiping the deity. And it's not even necessary, you know, in one sense, because you have the holy name, but because of our weak situation, this helps us. This, and in the other sense, it is very, very necessary, understanding who we are. So much more that goes on with worshiping the deity, the reciprocation, the service attitude, bringing us, every time you go in front of the deity, you begin to practice, you act like who you are. You're his servant. Lay down, you're his servant. Anyway, that's all I think with the deity worship. But those the other points, the anarthas, the getting those things from out of the heart. I feel as though when we really move closer and try to become internal devotees, then Lord Jagannath or Radheshwar Bihar, they let us hear the Lord within the heart. See, Krishna is just amazing. And when you open up the Bhagavad Gita, how many times have you read it? But today, you heard the message. And when you chant your Japa, today my mood is prayerful. I feel a need, a yearning to be closer to you. So it's a constant. We're being bombarded with good help, with purification, with blessings. And Krishna explains that very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, to stay under, all of us under proper guidance, that is the main point. Das, das, anu, das. So all these things, what do? They help us become steady. First we got to clean out that closet. We got to go inside and go through a Nartaniya Vritti and try to clean that nasty place out. It's called our heart, so that Krishna can take his seat. So we chant, We hear, we chant, we serve. We try to develop a service attitude, a good service attitude, and serve the devotees, glorify the devotees. Do not criticize the devotees. Glorify them. They belong to Krishna. That's all. You'll make me I talk too much. Anyway, there's so many devotees on this call that can share. There's Vamana, I saw Kaivalya. The devotees can share, they can give. There's devotees who can give you things. This is not just about me speaking. That's why I always open up. Devotees have so much to give. And you're always invited to share.
Mother Vrindavaneshwari has her hand up.
Yes, Mother.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on the concept that was read in this section about when one comes to deity worship, one also has the opportunity to feel the love from God, from the Lord. And that's something that's really been on my mind the past few days, is that if we're always trying to, figure out how to serve, and we're always just kind of making this outward prayer of, appealing to Krishna for service, or appealing to Krishna for, for this relationship, but we're not opening ourselves up to receive love from Krishna, then it can feel unrequited in the sense that we might feel like that it's somehow not a nourishing thing, that we are just kind of output, constantly trying to serve or ask for service, or ask for, how can I serve you? How can you make me a better person, or whatever that, appeal is. But if we're not kind of pausing and, opening ourselves up to feel love, feel Krishna's love, and feel that love pour into us and nourish us during Japa or in our lives, then it can, like I said, it can feel like an unrequited relationship. So the bringing up that point to where Maharaj said about deity worship, coming closer to the deities, can enable us to feel love, to feel that love in return. And that really resonated with me, considering everything that I've been kind of meditating on the past few days about, when I open my heart, when I ask Krishna to, when I say I receive, when I'm in the Japa space, in a meditative space in Japa, and I open my heart to just receive Krishna's love while I'm chanting, that the relationship feels complete, and I can feel nourished and whole as a result of that process. And then it makes me beg for Japa. I want to run to Japa, because it's a complete relationship. It's like a couple. If one person's always, not, if one person's doing the appealing, and then another person's, and they're trying to give the love to someone, but someone's not receiving it, then it can feel out of balance. So it's like, if Krishna's trying to give us love, but we're not receiving the love, then that relationship isn't whole. It's not complete. So it was a reminder when I saw that. It just triggered that deity worship, it can help us receive, that love from Krishna. So it's the completeness of that relationship. And so I just wanted to share that point, and I'd love any thoughts you had on that too.
Thank you, Mother. He's always wanting to reciprocate with us. Sometimes we have blocks and we can't. Sometimes we're doing things which don't enable us to feel Krishna's his mercy flowing. Mentally, we know that the mind comes and goes, but the mind can be really, really a heavy situation to deal with, because the mind is fortifying our fourth sense of self. So to the extent that I'm identifying with my mind, I'm identifying with my false sense of self, my false ego. And I'm not seeing myself as an eternal servant of Krishna. And so for one who hovers a lot on a mental plane, then it's often very difficult to feel Krishna coming through, because you're blocking everything, because you're constantly reflecting on that plane instead of being open so that you can experience more of the transcendence which is coming. That is why the chanting and the hearing, those 9 processes are powerful, because sometimes we don't break through with our chanting, but we break through hearing, or we go and we get in cure time and we're hearing and, so it's these 9 different processes of devotional service are very important, because if one doesn't work out for you, the other one will. But Krishna is trying. He wants to reciprocate with us more than we want, but there's this blockage on our end. And some of it's karmic. Some of it's that, we came with a bad body this time, with a bad mind from previous activities. And it's very difficult to get from Thomas, even to Rajas with the speaking, to just hear things. So it's like that. It's our conditioning. But these cliches like love conquers all, it's kind of true, because if you are in a very devotional, affectionate environment, even if you can't change things because you're suffering so bad, the devotees will help you make spiritual advancement. They'll bring you to the point of level 1 or level 2 or 2% in your devotional service, because the devotees are Krishna giving. Devotees are there. Your devotees are utensils in the hands of Krishna. He's speaking the heart from the devotees. He's using the devotees. So devotees are very intimately connected with Krishna. And we don't know that. We think that so-and-so's a jerk half the time, but it's not true. Everyone, wherever we're at, we're just making advancement. But I find when I'm the most sober, I see the biggest problem is me, because if my perception was different, if I had a little humility, if I had a little appreciation and gratitude, then I would change. Even if someone's having a bad day and they come over and I said, whoa, I said, he was having such a bad day. I wish I could help. So we have to, rise above these influences. Krishna's mercy is coming. The reciprocation. This isn't some unrequited love affair. The one who's not putting out love is generally us. Krishna's trying to reciprocate. He's coming himself. He's leaving, the conversation of the Bhagavad Gita. He's sending his devotee. He's coming with us in the heart. I mean, my God, he's there as non-Prabhu. He is in it. He's in it. His archer, Vigraha, So he's trying. All right. Well,
Renika has her hand up.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu, for today's class. The way I look at it is, there is so much encouragement given, and there are so many classes. I think there is at least 1 class or 2 classes every single day. From ISKCON Philadelphia. So the environment is so nice and so conducive. So if someone wants to follow this this philosophy, there's no excuse to not chant 16 rounds a day. There's no excuse to not chant, because everything has been provided to you. Like, do you believe the system or not? So if you believe the system, then there are no excuses. So if I don't chant 16 rounds a day, I don't have a valid excuse. So that's how I'm looking at it. And for the most part, the people who are my opinion about the people who are teachers or devotees or people who do different kinds of spiritual services at the temple, they're actually very nice people. I mean, I have no complaints. The only single complaint I have about this, the people here in this group is, oh, I'm a senior, oh, you're a junior. I mean, like one slight, I wouldn't call it a complaint, but I think other than that attitude, junior, senior attitude, I think everything else is, at least for me, it's picture perfect. So I would not, if you ask me, have you chanted the last 60 days? Have you chanted every single day? I will say yes, and it is yes. And if I did not chant in a single day, I wouldn't have an excuse, because every single morning, like, at 6:30 a.m., you start the Japa session and you're giving so much coaching, and you're giving, the environment is so ripe, and you're providing all the spiritual tools, all the spiritual techniques, all the encouragement. So there is no reason why, if someone believes in the system, there is no reason why someone would not chant. Yes, the quality of chanting depends upon your lifestyle, your job, and your tensions, and there you can cut some slack, but um, there's no reason why someone would miss chanting, like, if you believe the system.
Thank you, Mother Renika.
Mother Renika, you know, if you keep speaking like this, you're going to make me break my word that I promised you. You know what I'm saying? I love hearing you. Prabhupada would love hearing the way that you're speaking. There's no excuse. You got no excuse. I mean, I love what you're saying. And the junior and senior, I'll give you a good point about this, about senior and junior. There's a side to being a junior devotee that you can't imagine. By being a junior devotee, by being a younger brother, by being at the bottom of the totem pole, you have so much love and affection to receive that it is unbelievable. You just have, when I stop throwing tantrums because my brothers are telling me this and that, and just receive the affection that they're all giving me, then I find it's fine. So when you open up and see that there's so much love and affection that's coming in your direction, then you'll say, ooh, I want to stay junior. I was just getting so much love, affection, and attention like that. And we are trained, we learn how to serve. I'll tell you a story. Once Srimati Radharani lost one of her bangles. And so I forget, I'm not sure if it was Lokanath Maharaj or not, but one of the great saints, he sat down and he went into meditation. And then he went to where they were and he had his gopi form. His disciple came and sat beside him. And his disciple too went into meditation and went there and had his gopi form. So they got to there where they were all the gopis are looking for Radharani's bangle. And the disciple found the bangle of Srimati Radharani. There were so many of them looking for it. But the disciple took that bangle and he gave it to his guru. And his guru gave it to the next gopi and the next gopi and the next gopi. And finally, someone gave the gopi to the bangle to Srimati Radharani and says, oh, here's my bangle. He says, well, where's that? He says, oh, the gopi way down, the disciple or something, that gopi, all of them thought, oh, that wonderful gopi found your bracelet. All of that long line of mercy was coming down. So we don't want to miss one drop of that nectar. Being at the bottom, the prayers go up and the mercy comes down. Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyas, all that mercy, all that mercy is coming down. That's what we get when we're junior like that. So the other thing, you just have to stay steady, mother, because you're doing good. Now, don't get, don't go to that other space on me, but you're doing so good. I've always thought that you were Krishna sent and that you were a person who's looking for Krishna. You've come at the right time, and I can see nothing but how Krishna's blessing you. Don't go off the wrong end. But I'm so proud of you, Mother Renika.
So
and don't make me come back next week and have to chastise you either. Hare Krishna.
See, this is how I look at life and people. I mean, yes, I love the ISKCON philosophy and everything about ISKCON I like, but I also like my personal philosophy, which is like, no devotees should not be quantified. They should not be quantified based upon the amount of donation they gave or based upon the number of years they stayed or believed the system. You should not quantify a devotee. I mean, we are in the spiritual space. Why to quantify people?
Well, I'll explain that to you. It's not like you think. You're looking at it on a material platform. But you can have that conversation with me as long as you want if you dial my number. But you're not going to get more of that conversation on this call. But you're right to you have the right to your own opinion. But we want to hear what the saints and what those before said, why they say do like this. What do they think about that? And I too stuck onto my opinion for a long time. Remember, I came when Srila Prabhupada was here, and it took me a while to get some things out of my head. So I don't condemn you having your own opinion. Everyone moves at their own pace. But I can tell you, because of your heart so nice, it'll change. But anyway, but if you have any questions.
And also one more thing, all human beings are equal, irrespective. No two human beings are different or separate, or one is not higher than the other. So those are the two things which I will always stick to. It will go parallel with ISKCON philosophy, but no two human beings are different.
First of
all human beings are
we're
equal.
not talking about, wait a minute, my turn. First of all, we're not talking about human beings. We're talking about spirit soul. Drop the dress and get down to spirit souls. And spirit souls, first of all human beings aren't even created equal. One guy's born into a completely impoverished thing and ignorance, and the other guy is born into great affluence and clear understanding. So that's on a material platform. Spiritually, there is equality, but there's a process for making advancement. You have to change the lens in the glass. If you change your lens, you'll see it differently. And that will happen gradually. Because if somebody thinks they're better than you, then it's obvious they're not seeing properly. But if you think that somebody thinks they're better than you, and that's why you're also not seeing properly, even if a person has that mentality. The system isn't an elitist system. And I know that there's another system which is tied so closely to this system, which is an elitist system, which is the caste system, which is based on something material. This is not the process which we're discussing here. But as I said, you can call and we can kick the conversation way down the alley if you want. But here, there's a certain conversation. And I appreciate your contribution. Why? I appreciate you. That's it. Okay, Drona?
All right, we got one more question. Maybe it'll be a short question. We can end on it. If we have time, Mother Sita has her hand up.
Okay, Mother Sita.
Hare Krishna. I just have one short little comment. Is when you serve a senior and when the amount of blessing that you get, it overwhelms you, and that feeling is amazing. So I am glad to have seniors, and I'm glad that I could serve the seniors, because if everybody was on my same level, gosh, I would never be able to get my spirituality anywhere. I'd be constant. Because there are seniors, because you have role models, because you have a guru, you're able to serve them and learn from them, and then you have a path. Without the seniors' mercy, how are we ever going to go anywhere? We're not going to get anywhere without the mercy. So I'm very thankful to you for guiding me. I'm thankful to Mother Sangeeta for being there for me. I'm thankful to the Acharya Prabhu. I'm thankful to Jagannath Priya Mataji. I'm thankful to all the seniors here. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where I would be. So thank you.
Thanks for the encouragement, Mother. Okay. Well, I think I've run the gambit. I think I've run out of time. But I want to leave with this, is that, as we go from class to class, from situation to situation, we need to reflect on the fact that there is a goal, there is an end. We're doing this not just because it feels good and we have association, but we're trying to purify our existence so that we can again be used by Radha and Krishna, even if we don't experience this great bliss. We want to be reestablished in that relationship, ultimately becoming real true lovers of God. And so if we can remember that, keep it in the conversation, and associate with devotees that keep that remembrance coming to us, then we're going to be okay. Because that's the main thing. Let's not get caught up in the sweet, oh, I did this, I do that. No, let's keep the light on in the room. I'm fallen and I need Krishna's mercy. I'm here within the ISKCON society because I want to change my life. I want to really take advantage of the gift of Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya. And that's it. All right.
I forgot, I want to also thank Mother Golokanand Priya, who helped me serve the deities, and Mother Sudevi, who's always guiding me whenever I need help. So I didn't want to forget them. I'm sorry.
I love that, Mother Sudevi, she's always up jumping on me, trying to correct me and give me trouble, and I love her for it. She didn't say anything to me today. I don't know what's wrong with Mother Sudevi. But these devotees are wonderful. And just the fact that you appreciate them, and you should tell them. Tell them. When somebody does something you don't like, we always tell them. I'm so glad that you mentioned it. Tell them all. Tell them how much you appreciate them. We could all use a little encouragement. Not blowing smoke on our false ego. We could use encouragement to continue to serve. Okay. Vanchakalpa
Kripa Sindhu
Kripa Sindhu Bhyavicha
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Hare
Namaha.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a nice
Hare
class. Thank you very
Krishna.
much.
I
Hare
respect the
Krishna.
same set of people too,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
like how Sita Mataji mentioned, but not because they are seniors. I respect them because of the values they bring to the table, or the